So chapter 199 of Jujutsu Kaisen just dropped, and it feels like we're finally starting to move forward with the plot after what feels like a couple of weeks of side quests. The chapter opens up with the aftermath of Maki vs. Naoya, and she's helping out Noritoshi here, and they end up talking about how Noritoshi basically feels worthless now that he can no longer stand at the top of the Kamo family. We then get some more dialogue between the two, and it basically neatly ties up Maki's almost hyperbolic time chamber arc over the past couple of chapters. I'm very happy that Maki is now at a stage that is now officially recognized that she is on the same level as Toji. It's been speculated for weeks whether Maki would ever be the same as Toji, whether she would grow stronger than Toji. I still personally think that she will grow stronger eventually over time, but I am very, very happy now that Maki's chapter seems to have been tied up nice and neatly, but it also feels like we have more from Noritoshi to still learn, to still grow at, because the final sentence that he has with Maki right here where he says, yeah, the impression that I get from him is that he seems down, beaten, and still not quite sure of himself, not quite convinced that what Maki has told him is the correct way he should be dealing with things, and the advice that she's given he doesn't seem to have taken on board fully. We then switch over to Tokyo number 1 Colony on November 14th, and we see Angel saying good morning to Megami, and she calls him my fated one. Now, there is no real explanation for this. Megami is looking obviously beaten, bruised, battered for himself, and he asks how long he was asleep, and then he turns away from Angel and says, I'm asking you, Itadori. We finally get to see Itadori, and it turns out that this guy has just been living the life. This boy is in a robe, he's drinking some wine, and he is having a real good time with it. It seems also that our favorite Power Ranger, Takaba, is also here, and he has basically just been out raiding stores, grabbing some food, frozen food, and is also very surprised that there is still electricity running through the colonies, to which Angel explains that it's not an earthquake, there's no reason for the electricity to be shut off on its own. Cursed spirits are more likely to attack humans than they are buildings, and they still have a lot of people remaining in the colony, and that's why they didn't cut off the electricity from the outside. Joshua then says that Takaba-san, you became a player from the outside colony, right? And he's like looking at it a bit clueless while chugging on a beer. She asks him if he did not look at the news before coming in. He says, I'm not really a news person, and then she says, ignorance in an adult is the opposite of bliss, you know, and I think that's quite a funny line. I actually kind of really like that line. It's quite profound. I will say it feels nice to see Yuji back in the panels again. It feels like it's been a really, really long minute since we saw him here, and not that I'm complaining. Seeing all these other characters fighting and having more screen time is very nice, and it's very refreshing, but it's also nice to see our boy Yuji back. It's also nice to see that he is just refreshed. That guy is vibing. He is in a dressing gown, and he's thrilled to be wearing that. He's also drinking wine. He is vibing right now. So Megami then says that he's going to go take a bath, and these guys should all just prepare to tell him on how the hell they are all in the same hotel room and what happened over the past couple of days while he passed out. Yuji then points out that Takaba kind of looks like a Power Ranger, which is why I mentioned that, because I'd never thought about that until this was pointed out in Power Rangers in our translation notes right there, which I think is kind of funny. They then point out that they saw Angel carrying Megami after their fight. Yuji makes a reference to, I hope I don't butcher this word, but it says Petrash, I think. The dog from A Dog of Flanders. Little Angel came down to carry the dog on a boy to heaven, where he makes that reference, I guess. I have no idea where that reference came from, so if you know that, let me know in the comments below. Moving further, they talk about that they are looking for a player called the Angel. And we heard that the Angel is in Tokyo number 2 Colony. Kurusu, are you the Angel? And if so, did you save me? And why are you in Tokyo number 1 Colony? Kurusu is looking a bit sheepish here, and then we get the big reveal of the chapter. I am the Angel, but it's not Kurusu saying this. It's a mouth on Kurusu's face, looking almost exactly like Sukuna. And Yuji is almost immediately not shocked by this, but more almost looks kind of happy that it's like him, which feels like the most Yuji thing to happen in this scene, considering Megami and Takaba looked startled that there is a face on her cheek talking to them. So Angel Mouth then says, first I saved you because Hannah and you used to, but she doesn't get to finish the sentence, which I find kind of interesting. What is the secret here? What is the big deal here? Everyone looks shocked about it in the room, but no one really sort of talks about it, and I hope that gets addressed at some point. They then go on to talk about, do you need a reason to help someone who's collapsed by the side of the road? Yuji and Takaba, being the lovable idiots that they are, both say, what a good person. Not a thought between their heads that this could be some sort of weird trap or sinister intention. But the hand-face thing, Angel, we'll call it hand-face Angel. Since you're looking for me, it seems you know my curse technique. They then go on to elaborate that the nullification of cursed techniques. Seals and barriers are no exception, so we can enter and exit the colonies at will. We then find out that Angel's goal is to purge all of the incarnated players. She states that it's something that should not be happening and it goes against the laws of gods. Megami then questions God and she then says, "A name given to my creed for simplicity's sake, you can ignore it if you like." It's a very interesting statement to say. It's the implication that God does exist, because if Sukuna is revered as the devil, then that must also imply the existence of a god. So this kind of does make me very intrigued as if to see there is a higher power, because if cursed spirits do exist in this universe, there's got to be some sort of higher power, I imagine. The angel then states that that's why they've chosen to coexist with Hana. They then also explain a little bit more in detail about what their curse technique can do. Megami questions, could your curse technique return an incarnated player back to what they were like before the incarnation? Angel then replies, I can't say for sure, but 99% of the time they will die. Incarnation is the fusion of a cursed object and living flesh. And Yuji then thinks to himself, that's why Sukuna will die if I die. She then states that if you wanted to return someone to their original state, and if so, I'm sorry, I don't think I could help you with that. They then get to the part of what they need Angel to break, and it is the special grade cursed prison realm. We all know it's what's holding Gojo right now. Angel then agrees that if it's the seal of a cursed object, then it's completely fine. Megami and Yuji share this wholesome little fist bump, and I'm really for it. Finally, things starting to look on the up for Yuji and Megami right here. And then even Megami starts to think to himself, it's all going well. We can revive Gojo Sensei this way, and it's almost scary how smoothly things have gone. He's speaking too soon, brother. It's almost as if Gege is in our minds and knows that we are so desperate to see Gojo be revived so we can see more of that man on the screen. Even though we've had so much of him already, he knows that's what we're after, and he knows that by teasing us we're going to get more and more excited, and it feels now that we're starting to build up towards the end game of this arc of freeing Gojo so we can see more of that man on screen. Angel then says, first you need to help us, and then I'll break the seal on the prison realm. Of course, it's never ever going to be that easy. Megami then says, don't tell me you want us to kill all the incarnated players, to which Angel responds, I'm not nearly so demanding. There's just one among the incarnated players that I must slaughter, no matter the cost, and that is the Fallen. If we can kill this player, then I can guarantee you of my assistance. We then cut to Yuji looking real shocked, zooming into his eyeballs, and then all of a sudden we are in the domain of none other than Sukuna himself. The first time I'm pretty sure we've seen him since the Tokyo incident in Shibuya. He says to Yuji, just looking at your face makes me sick. Ha, I figured out I'd say it before some idiot slips up and lets the cat out of the bag. Yuji looking really confused, and then we get the grand reveal of the chapter. I am the Fallen. Sukuna himself reveals that he is the Fallen. Things are now divulging into chaos. What a chapter this has been so far, and I feel like we are really starting to set up an endgame now. The next chapter, chapter 200, I feel is going to be a big one, and I am super stoked to see this. Let me know in the comments below what you guys thought of this chapter. Overall, I thought this chapter was possibly a very dialogue heavy chapter, or overall possibly one of the best chapters that I've read from Jujutsu in a little minute. Considering it was so dialogue heavy, what we got here is massive, and I'm very happy and excited to see the future of this. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Much love, appreciate you.